Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I've had a couple different people over the last few days ask me about setting up a controller with the mobile version of Tarisland. So I wanted to set up a quick tutorial on how to download the Mantis Gamepad Pro app. We'll be downloading the Google Play version of this app, and it is compatible with pretty much any kind of controller, Bluetooth or wired. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is going to jump into the Play Store. You're going to look up Mantis Gamepad Pro. We're going to go ahead and download that app right now, install it. Now go ahead and open up the app. You can hit allow or don't allow. And now when you're in the interface of the Gamepad Pro app, you're going to see a little bit of a tutorial. It's going to want you to display or draw over other apps. Let's go ahead and check mark that. Next, we're going to head over into developer settings. And so there's a way to activate this. You go to about phone, you're going to go down to software, and then you're going to hit the build number, and you're going to just keep tapping it. Once it's done counting down, it's going to pull up the developer settings for you. Go ahead and click on that. You're going to scroll down, and we're going to find USB debugging. Go ahead and check mark that, hit OK. Then we're going to go back over to the Mantis Gamepad Pro. Check out the next step. That's going to be allow screen drawing over other apps. So you're going to scroll down to that until you find it. There it is. Allow screen overlays on settings. Go ahead and check mark that. Now our next step is going to be the wireless debugging section. For me, for whatever reason, the pop-up app would not draw over the settings. It should work for you. I've already set this up once, so I think it kind of glitched out for me for some reason. So I put it into a split setting. You can do that on most phones. Some phones aren't able to do it. I scrolled down and I was able to get it to work. I just had to finagle it a little bit. It's going to get you to want to pair with that device. It's going to give you a little pop-up window. You're going to type in that code. Go ahead and pair it. It's all pretty intuitive and it guides you through the process now. Once you're done pairing, you're pretty much all set to go. You do need to grab a controller. For me, I was using the GameSir, so I'm going to go ahead and get that set up right now, as you're seeing on the screen. So you're going to want to go ahead and click the No Gamepads Connected section. Go ahead and Bluetooth your phone right now if you haven't already. I had to turn my controller on here, so it took just a second. It pops up for you. You should see it there. You'll be able to configure it any way you want. You can switch between Nintendo, generic, Xbox. They have several different options for you there. You can also just mess with the controls and test out everything, calibration wise. Okay, so the next section here is we're going to go ahead and add the game. So you'll hit add game right there in the middle. You're going to search the game. Once it pops up, scroll all the way down to the bottom for Tarisland or Call of Duty, whatever it is you want to play. Go ahead and select it. And then you can launch the game from inside the app. Now make sure you're launching the game from inside the app, or most of the time the GameSir overlay is not going to pop up for you, so it's not going to work. Load into a game here, so just 1 second, bear with me. Now you should see the floating mantis icon in the middle of your screen. Go ahead and pull that off to the side. Right there, you can drag it wherever you want to use it. That's going to be where you map all your controls and do all your settings there. Go ahead and load into a game. And you can pull that open. Let's go ahead and map the analog sticks. So let's do the left stick first. All you have to do is click it. It'll pop up on the screen. You can pull it off to wherever you want it. You can resize it. I like to make mine a little bit smaller. And you can also scroll down and mess with the sensitivities. I like to turn my sensitivity up just a little bit. It feels a little bit too slow on the stock settings for me. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the right stick. I like to put the right stick right in the middle of the screen, just off to the side. Kind of stays out of the way of all the icons and quest messages. Go down and adjust your sensitivity as needed. There's also an option to invert the controls right underneath that for those of you that want to invert the X and Y axis. Now let's go ahead and test out a couple of the button mappings. So I've gone ahead and put A here. I'm going to put that on my jump. Now I would recommend that you go to one of those testing areas that you can just use your spells on a dummy or a practice target. That way the icons stay popped up on your screen there, because they will fade away over time. So as long as you're in combat, they'll stay there. Go ahead and tab target, click on the screen. All right, let's go ahead and set up the rest of the controls here. Now I'm just showing a quick tutorial on how to set a couple of those keybinds up. You don't have to copy mine at all. I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the next scene where you can see most of mine set up here in about a second. There you go. Now they're all on screen. I'm gonna show you a cool little shortcut. This is a sequence mode that allows you to map basically an option where you set up one button press and then you'll set up a second button press. So that second button press can be used for like hitting the back button. I'll show you here in just a second what I mean. I'll open up my map, I'll hit the back button. It's all the same button. So select, and it hits that back button. And the cool thing about that is it's useful for also going into like different screens. You can open up your backpack and then hit that back button as well. Now let's go ahead and test out the combat here. I do recommend for mobile players to set up the macro once you unlock it. That way it macros your main abilities, the 3 abilities, into a sequence that does the best DPS or healing for you. That way you have minimal skill management to take care of. As you can see, I did 12k damage right there just in one sitting. Works pretty well. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the other settings that you can go through here. I do recommend making a copy of one of your phases just in case something glitches out. You don't have to reset up all your binds again. You can also go over here into these settings over here and you can set up the opacity of the buttons. So you can turn the buttons completely off. They're not on screen anymore and you can just memorize them. You can go ahead and you can turn down the button opacity or the Mantis opacity if you don't want to see those icons as bright or thick on the screen. I like to turn mine down a little bit, just to the point where they're kind of like a ghost fade, just in case I can't remember a button bind for one of my spells. I really hope this tutorial helped you guys out in setting up a controller for Tarisland. It is really fun to use a controller on the mobile version. I will be putting out a video for controller support as well on the Lenovo Legion Go, so stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and jump on a mount. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit them in the comment section for me. I'll do my best to try and help you out with any errors or any other questions you need. I do hope that the devs decide to add in controller support at a later time, as the game feels really, really good with a controller. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content on Tarisland. Make sure you like, comment, or subscribe. You guys have a good one. Thanks.